Welcome to MacVoices. This is the talk of the Apple community, and I'm Chuck Joyner. Folks, we are on the road to Macstock in Crystal Lake, Illinois in July. In fact, as I record this, just in a couple weeks, it's coming up already. Bearing down fast. I need to pack, but I'll get that done before the plane takes off. But I hope you will join us in Crystal Lake. Macstock Conference and Expo is where you go to learn more, including all the sessions, all the presenters, and what they're going to be talking about. This time around, though, we have kind of a different presenter because he's not going to be a presenter at Macstock proper, but he is going to be doing a workshop. Some guy I barely have heard of named Mike Potter. Mike, what are you doing here as a presenter? You organize Macstock.
I honestly don't know. Somehow I got roped into presenting this year, Chuck.
I, did the organizer demand that you present? Is that what happened?
He did, in fact. No, it's a talk I've been wanting to give for a little while because it's on software that I've been using more and more myself, and it's one of those software titles that can be so expansive that you kind of need to hit that moment where you say, oh, that's how I can use it. So I kind of want to share my journey with people on how I got to using it more frequently and maybe share some hints or tips that would help people kind of step into it themselves.
Now, the software we're talking about is what you used last year to present Macstock and stream it out. What I'm using to record this interview right now, and that is Ecamm Live.
Ecamm Live Pro, yeah, or Ecamm Live Standard, frankly. There's a little bit of difference between the two, and we'll cover those differences. But this is really going to be an introduction to Ecamm Live workshop. And so that last word is key to all of this. It's one of the workshops that we're going to be presenting on Friday, the 12th.
Because you had nothing else to do the day before
Because
Macstock
I
proper.
had absolutely nothing to do the day before Macstock weekend that I decided giving a 90-minute workshop would be the ideal way to start off the weekend.
So this is a little bit of a challenge because if we talk too much about Ecamm, you're going to end up giving the presentation, and that's something we try to avoid.
Right.
That said, I think it is important maybe to distinguish, because right now we're two different kinds of users. I use it strictly to record, and I have not. I've used it in a limited streaming capacity, but I'm still experimenting with that. But it does some things that the other solutions out there just don't do for me. So I'm using it as a recording and therefore then eventually post-production tool. You've used it though in a live streaming environment for Macstock. So you've gone through setting up all the scenes, doing all the transitions, integrating everything in so that you can manipulate various controls, and then instead of seeing you or me or both of us on the screen like I am now anyway, that you end up bringing in a video or a graphic or a lower third or something. And I'm anxious to learn more about how you learned it, because what you did last year with Macstock was very, very impressive.
I thought it turned out great, and we're going to be using it again. The interesting thing about Ecamm, and I'll look, Ecamm is the company, right? Ecamm is the company that created Ecamm Live Standard and Pro. They also created apps that we have been using for years, like Call Recorder. That's an app I depended upon for, gosh, well over 10 years podcasting. Because it was one of the best ways to capture audio recordings when you were interviewing guests through Skype or co-hosts or what have you. Well, Call Recorder is no more thanks to changes in macOS and Skype and all kinds of stuff. So if you're still using an older version of macOS, you can use Call Recorder. But for those of us who have to move on, we have to find different solutions. And it turns out that I've had a license to Ecamm Live for many, many years, and I just wasn't using it. And I think part of the issue with it might be, and it's certainly not for me to say, But calling it Ecamm Live is a little bit of a misnomer because it almost implies that it's really just for live streaming, and that's not the case at all. Not only can it be used for live streaming, it can be used for recording, which is also what we did at Macstock. Not only did we live stream Macstock, but we recorded everything that happened in Ecamm and on stage. But it can also be used for presentations, and it can be used for Zoom calls. So there's so many different ways you can use it that if you're sitting in on the workshop, or if you're just visiting their website and trying to figure out how this software might be applicable to you, don't pigeonhole it within the framework of it's just for live streaming, because it really is so much more than that. And yes, I use it for my podcast, and we do live stream the recording process, but one of the keys of using it for the podcast is being able to take the recordings that it makes and edit those down into the audio show that I release when we're done recording. I have used it in presentations. I have used it in Zoom. We used it to record at Macstock, and we used it to live stream. So there's so many different ways you can use it. And I hope to touch on a little bit of that and then move into what, and I've been calling it my aha moment. In other words, I didn't know how to use it, didn't know how to take advantage of it until I had that aha moment. And that's where a big part of my focus is going to be. And I hope provide an aha moment for other people who are in attendance and just aren't quite sure where to get started with it.
I'm looking forward to that. I had my aha moment, and the bad thing is, and it's my fault, I sort of stopped there. It did what I needed it to do, and I look at some of the other things, and I've looked at what you've done with it, and think I need to dedicate some time to this, and I just have not. So I'm hoping you can give me a little shortcut to catching up on things that I've missed, because they keep adding features. It is incredibly powerful. Honestly,
it really is.
I never thought about using it as a presentation tool. It makes perfect sense. It just never occurred to me.
Not only is it a great, you can build an entire presentation within Ecamm Live if you want to, but it will also integrate with Keynote. It'll integrate with PowerPoint. There's so many different ways you can build that presentation, and then with its virtual camera feature, send that out to wherever you want to, whether it's live streaming on YouTube, or whether it's to a Zoom meeting with colleagues, or even what's Microsoft's solution called? Teams. I don't use it enough, but you can take these presentations you build and push them out wherever you want to, thanks to the virtual camera feature. So I like that a lot. But I will tell you, Chuck, that I have taken a note to specifically address one of the things that you do on the show, and that's the little sidebar that pops in, and show you how you can create that sidebar right within Ecamm Live, and then with the click of a mouse or the push of a button, have it pop up right in the middle of your live stream. So that's actually going to be part of my presentation.
That's again, those are some of the niceties of Ecamm that the way I accomplish it is in Final Cut. But here again, it doesn't mean there's a right or wrong way to do it. It's just that this is something that's built in. And if you are doing a live stream, you can trigger that and have it come in during the live stream, and then have it go back out during the live stream.
Yep.
So,
yep, absolutely.
And we keep talking. See, I just did it again. We both, I think you're right. We pigeonhole it as a live streaming thing. And you never need to live stream anything if you don't want to. You can just use it to combine cameras, to combine multiple sources, just for your own use right on your desktop. It never needs to see the internet.
It never needs to see the internet. And that's the great thing about it. You can be a solo, use it for solo work. You can use it to bring in someone who's physically in the room with you on another camera. Or as you pointed out, yes, you can bring in the internet, and you can bring people in like we are doing now, or via Zoom. So lots of really cool things you can do with it in that regard. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking right now and it's showing me sources that I could bring in, and my phone is sitting right here and it's saying, "Hey, do you want to use your phone
Continuity
as another
camera.
camera?" Yeah,
Yep.
so it's integrated real well with the Mac, um, and I hope people will come away with from this with the idea that it'd just be fun to play with and see what you can do with it.
I think you hit upon one of the things that makes it so incredibly valuable to me, and that is that it's integrated with the Mac. And not that it's integrated with the Mac, but that it is a native Mac application. The only platform that you can run Ecamm Live on is a Mac. That's it. There is no Windows version. As far as I know, there will never, ever, ever be a Windows version. There's no iOS version. There's no iPad or iPhone specific version. It is a Mac application. So the things that you expect to do with a Mac, for example, dragging graphics into a scene, you you can literally drag and drop graphics right into the scene, and they become part of your overlays within that scene. And that's thanks to it being a native Mac application. The ability to use continuity camera, the ability to integrate with something like Keynote. This is all thanks to the fact that it's a native Mac application. And that's what has made some of the other solutions, no names, that I've looked at when I realized that Call Recorder and Skype were going away for recording my audio podcast. When I started looking at other solutions, the difficulties I had with them were almost always either because they required a web browser to integrate with them, or everything happened there. It happened on their servers. And that's probably the bigger issue. So doing something like having this side by side, like we have right now, or I assume we have right now, is you can do that in Final Cut. Just put a side by side for a second. Um, that when you're using one of the web solutions, I can't just drag a graphic in. If I want to add your logo to the corner, I can't just drag it in. I have to upload it to the service first. I have to make it available to the scene that I've built and then integrate it into the scene. It's just so difficult. When you're a Mac user, you get used to certain things just being super, super easy to do in a powerful way. And that's what Ecamm allows me to do. And that was part of my aha moment. There's a little preview of the aha moment, but the real aha moment I had was in how I use the software itself and how I can make the software work better for me. And that's one of the things I'd like to talk about. Granted, it's only a 90-minute workshop, right? It's like saying, oh, I'm going to give a 90-minute workshop on Photoshop and teach you everything you need to know about it. Heck, you can't even do that with Microsoft Word. So to try to do a 90-minute workshop and say, here's everything that you need to know about Ecamm Live, that's not going to happen. So I'm specifically presenting this as an introduction to Ecamm Live, incorporating my experiences with it.
This organizer guy that puts Macstock together has been giving the presenters a code to do a discount on attending Macstock, either the 2-day version or the 3-day version. You are a Macstock presenter, so I don't know, did he give you a code?
He did not give me a code. I'm going to use the code MacVoices. If
Oh, okay.
if someone would like to, this is your show, Chuck. Let's use the code MacVoices. If someone would like to attend Macstock and save $30 off their weekend pass or their weekend pass plus workshops, enter the code MacVoices, and you'll take $30 off that ticket price.
All right. Well, I appreciate that because I feel like this interview has been schizophrenic for some reason. I'm talking to two different people for about the same person on two different things. But yeah, thank you. So again, folks, the code is MacVoices at Macstock Conference and Expo. Come and join us. And I haven't done this kind of explanation before, but don't come to Macstock if you don't want to learn. Don't come to Macstock if you don't want to have a good time. Don't come to Macstock if you don't want to meet old friends and new friends, because those are the things we're going to be doing. And so if you're not into that, stay home, because we're going to be having a ball, and we want you there, but you have to come with those expectations. Is that fair, Mike?
You have to, yeah, you have to come expecting that you're going to have a great time. And I do believe we did mention this when we kicked off the road to Macstock, Chuck. But if you feel like you don't know anybody, just walk up to any conversation taking place in the hallway, in the conference room, in the lunchroom, in the evenings after everything's wrapped up for the day. Walk up and, if nothing else, listen to what they're saying. But when you do have something to say, speak up. And you'll find that within seconds, you have suddenly integrated yourself within that group and will probably be sharing far more about whatever topic it was than you intended to when you walked up to that group.
Yeah, that's well said. And look, even if there's not a conversation going, just walk up to anyone and introduce yourself, because by the
Introduce
end of the
yourself for
weekend,
sure.
yeah, by the end of the weekend, you're probably going to know them anyway. So just go ahead and get off to a good start.
Yeah.
I know I had that experience. I've had that experience multiple years, where it's somebody brand new and it's like, "Hi, what? Why are you here? What are your and why are you here? As in, what are your interests? What things are you looking forward to?" But
If I
yeah,
can put on my organizer hat for just a moment,
sure.
choop, choop, um, it's not hard. It's, yeah. We're as we record this, we are 2 weeks from Macstock. I can't believe it's coming up that quickly. We are 2 weeks from Macstock. Today we met with the venue to finalize details on the rooms and lunches and all that kind of stuff. I, as the organizer, I'm here to say that this new venue is going to be amazing for so many reasons, not the least of which is we're no longer tooling all over McHenry County, going from place to place to place to place. If you don't want to move at all for the entire weekend, you can come in on Thursday or Friday, park your car, check into the hotel, come down, join us for the conference during the day, have dinner in the hotel restaurant, hang out at the pool in the hotel, go to the back patio, hang out in the lounge, meet people in the hallways, whatever, and go home at the end of the weekend and have had a fantastic time. Everything that we've done before but required driving all over is no longer the case. We have this fantastic venue and we need to take advantage of it because the space is ours. That's what they emphasized to us when we met today. The space is ours. So when we want to do something extra on Friday night, like Mac Geek Gab recording Friday evening, or I understand there might be karaoke on Saturday evening, if you want to participate or not participate, we have the space to do it. And I hope people will take advantage of it because I'm so excited about this venue change. Um, it's going to make it so much better for everyone attending Macstock for sure.
I'm looking forward to seeing the new venue. I've seen the pictures. I've heard you talk about it. I'm anxious because what you had before was great, but there was only one downside to it, and that is that we were having to move from place to place to place to eat and to
Yeah.
do some of the evening activities. And this way, we're all under one roof. If you want to be, it's not like you're locking us up. You can still go out for dinner if you want something else, but it's just going to make life so much easier.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, one last time, Macstock Conference and Expo.com. Go there, use the code MacVoices to get $30 off, or don't use the code to get $30 off, or use any of the speaker codes for the folks we've had on. We still have a few to go. It doesn't matter. We just want you there. We're going to have a great time, and we want you to experience it like we will experience it.
Yeah.
Mike, we're going to try to get you back with your organizer hat on one last time before Macstock, just to wrap up any last details. But for now, thank you so much for sharing this, and I really admire your courage at trying to do a workshop and organize the conference.
Yeah, well, you know, I have to give it a try. No, it really is something. Not only have I had clients ask me about this software, about Ecamm Live, but it's because it's something I use myself, and because it's hard to get excited about software, but this was a software product that I've actually gotten excited about using and want to use more. So I'm always learning and always teaching myself something new about it. And if I can share a little of that with the people in attendance, that would be fantastic.
Great. Well, I'm looking forward to it, and we'll see just how well you communicate it. But I have no doubt, given what I've seen you do in the past, that it'll be informative. And I'm looking forward to
I
learning
hope
things.
so. I hope so. I hope so.
I'll see you at Macstock. We'll be talking again before then, but take care. Thanks so much.
Thanks so much, Chuck. See you soon.
Folks, I'm Chuck Joyner. This is Mac Voices. We'll have more Road to Macstock coming up soon. We want to see you in Crystal Lake. So I keep saying one last time. This is the last time. Macstock Conference and Expo.com. Be there. Until the next time, thanks for watching.